these brackets are a press fit to this particular plug. So what you do is you line it up and you press it in place, and it is pretty tight, but once you press them in place, then you can run some thin CA on the front and back side, and that should secure the plugs. Now you can see here they'll press in place, and that's how they finish. So then this will actually screw to the rib. Now there'll be a cutout on the inner rib, which will be here. This cutout will allow this plug to actually protrude into the rib. So it'll be cut out about 1/8 of an inch larger than the outside diameter of this bracket. And then of course on the other wing half, this bracket will actually fasten right to the rib. Here's a look at the locking mechanism for the MD-87 that I've designed, and right now it's going to take a little bit to machine all the parts. So what I've done is put together a quick working mock-up of the system, and we'll give you an overview of actually how it's going to work. The first thing that's got to happen is this mechanism here has to be inlaid into the wing, much like this wing tube was. So it's very important that this be on the same plane as the wing tube, also be on the same angle as the wing tube. So these parts are machined so that this bevel here matches the wing. Also, this edge right here comes up almost to the tube. This length here is not real critical, however, that's what's going to be doing the holding of the wing. So the way the thing works though is this gets inlaid into there. So now the top of this would be flush with the top of this rib. Then that completes this side, which would be the inner panel. The outer panel has a rib just like this one here. They're going to mate, and then this tongue is actually sticking out of it. Now this tongue, again, this is a prototype. It's going to be much longer. It'll be about 5 3/4 inches overall length. It will not have this hole in it, but it will have this slot. Now this slot is cut on an angle. Now this angle is cut in such a way that it matches this angle here. So if you can envision this being running parallel with this tube, and of course this setting up here running something similar to about like that, except this would mount on this side. Now we have this on the other wing panel, and it actually slides in here. Now this edge here is going to be in this rib, so there's just going to be a square cut out in the rib for this tongue to go in. So whenever you slide the tubes in, this tongue is actually going to wind up sliding into this groove, and of course it'll slide in until the two ribs butt, and then to slide it out you simply just pull the wing apart. So now what we need is a pin that goes in here to lock this, and that pin needs to be actuated in some way so that you can lock and unlock the wing. So let me move all this out of the way, and now I'll show you the locking mechanism. What I have is, this is the locking mechanism. Now I've got a few things that I'm going to change on this. One is this ear here is going to be about 1/8 of an inch longer, and then this ear here is going to drop down about 3/16 of an inch, and instead of having a step in it, I'm just going to have a straight angle, so it won't have that little jog in it. The way this works is, remember, this is mounted on the inner panel. this is the bottom and this is the top. Well, this apparatus goes in here, and it's held in place with a pin. And for this pin, right now I'm just going to use a toothpick so that you can see now this is moving. Okay, but also notice that it gets to a point and you hear it snap in place. So now what we have is we have this mounted in the wing. This here is below the bottom of the wing because this is flush with the rib, and then we have sheeting, and to simulate that it's like that. So you can see now why I want to drop this down, because I want to be able to get my finger on this little catch here, because this is actually how it's going to open and close. So in order to plug in the wing, you of course have to have the catch open, and then whenever you slide the wing in, this tongue is going to go into this slot, and then whenever it goes in, then you can close this. Now you heard the snap, because it is definitely a solid connection, and now I have that locked. Now the other thing you can do is you can slide the tongue in slightly and then close this, but see the ear is still sticking way down at the bottom of the wing. But as soon as I slide the wing all the way in, notice that it locked in place. So now this is locked, so this will not come out unless I open it up, and now I can pull the tab out, or in this case pull the wing apart. So that is the mechanism. Again, you can do it there, just push it up against it, slide the wing in, and it's a positive lock whenever it gets in. Now to look closer at this setup, this will all be epoxy together, so you will not be able to disassemble this. But the idea is, if once you see what's inside of here, maybe you might want to create your own little mechanism. So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to pull this tab out, and now I'm just going to pull the top off so that you can see the actual mechanism here. And see, this is the plate. There's two of these plates, one on the front and one on the back, and there is a left and right, because notice the hole doesn't go all the way through for the magnet, and here it is on the back side. So in a sense, what I have is a spacer, and then I have the locking mechanism, which again, if I put a pin in here, now you can see how that locking mechanism works. So whenever you trap it with a second piece of wood, now you can see how that's locking in place. Now one real critical thing is that this angle, notice the angle here, this has to match this piece of PVC. And the reason that I used PVC is because it's very strong, number one, but number two, it's wear resistant. So I just feel like it will be better in the long run to go ahead and use the PVC, because the other unique thing about this system is, notice this was together, and now whenever I put this together, I can put the pin in it, and of course if this were mounted into the wing, this is like this is sticking down. If for whatever reason I want to work on this system, I can pull that pin and I'm able to pull the mechanism out. So this would all be epoxied in the wing, but this can be removed, because there will be a screw that's going to go from this rib. It'll have to be a long screw, but it will go from this rib all the way through and lock this in place. So the screw at about 1.5 inches long will go all the way through. It'll allow this to pivot on it and be able to remove this. So I thought I would give you an overview of this little system, and mainly because it's going to be a while before I get all these parts machined. But again, it's very effective, and I think it will work just fine. One other thing, the loads are only going to be on this piece of wood here, because that's what's going to epoxy to the outer wing panel, and then the loads are going to be on this piece of wood here. There will be no load on this section here, because what I'm actually doing is locking this piece of PVC through this hole here, and then through the two holes that are on this piece here. And if I take this apart, you can see here that I've got the matching bevel, and this is what's going to take some time. I've got to design a fixture, or actually build the fixture now, so that this gets held in this angle, and in that way I can take the second piece and put on top, put the other piece on the bottom. So basically I put it all together, set it on the fixture, and then have the bit come down and cut it out, and it will be on the right angle. So all I have to do is build a fixture to hold it, and then I can do cut a right one, and then the left one has to be the opposite angle to go on the other side. So that's the information on the plug-in system. The no tools required, no screws required to lock and unlock the wing system.